Hey everyone. So my name is Sydney. I'm a social work major, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about our very first video post and what we have learned so far in the class. So this class is Sociology of Disaster, obviously. And so week one, we learned a little bit about our professor, and we watched her intro video and her welcome, and we reviewed the syllabus and the assignments for the course. So then we jumped into chapters 1 and 2 for the reading for these past 2 weeks. So chapter 1 was in the intro to emergency management. So emergency management is rooted in the process of identifying risks and assessing vulnerabilities when it comes to like natural disasters. And it kind of creates strategies for reducing the risks when it comes to these disasters. So fundamental theories of disasters, there's 4 or 5 of them. There's the acts of fate or God. There's acts of nature. There's joint effects of nature and society. And there's social constructions. So some key terms that are pretty important would be emergency, which is an event involving consequences for a community. And disaster, which is an occurrence of events that provide casualties that are just too large for communities to handle. That leads us into FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and their goal is to like assess these events and try to help the communities come back, providing like federal assistance. So there's also the local emergency management system, which is like a way that these officials make hazard management decisions. So they go basing it off that model. There's disaster preparedness too, which is like activities that are taken to like protect human lives and property, as well as emergency response, which has a goal of saving lives and property by like positioning the correct equipment pertaining to emergencies. There's also disaster relief or disaster recovery, which is like non-emergency measures that are taken to return like all the systems back to normal once the disaster is over. So that was basically chapter 1, and that led us into chapter 2, which was learning more about emergency management stakeholders. So what I learned in the chapter is that stakeholders are like people who have or think that they have an investment in like the outcome of a policy. So there's 3 different types, which is like social groups, economic groups, and political groups for stakeholders. And how do stakeholders relate to emergency management? Like that's the question that I would propose to the class when talking about this, and that's also one of the questions I was asking myself during learning about this stuff, because I didn't really understand, while learning about stakeholders and the power that they have, I didn't really understand how that kind of led into FEMA or led and connected it to emergency management. So that is kind of like the muddy point for me. So if I were starting the class, I would probably ask for a discussion about how stakeholders are important to emergency management and how they have an effect on each other. Thank you.